am back. Why? Oh. Aha! So it was around November and into December of 2023 when I started dabbling and messing around with the recordings, learning the software. I had a couple of tracks that I made a start on. One of them was just a bit of an experimental idea, just getting used to the MIDI keyboard, getting used to the software, how it worked. Don't know what I was planning on doing with that track, whether it was going to be part of an EP at the time, or the album, or an idea as maybe like a B-side, or just something that sits in archives. And then the other one was a song I wrote fairly quick, which was Burn. And I began work on recording those two tracks over the next few months. See, this is all part of the fun, is trying to work out how the you use this shit. I mean, to start with, it took a bit of doing, obviously, just getting used to making sure, I had the right settings and how sound was gonna come in and be recorded. At the start, I had no sound coming in, or just technical issues, I suppose, like with anything when you start out. But I managed to figure it out and start figuring out how the software was working and start recording. You just start making shit up. Yeah, it is Monday. What is it? Oh yeah, Monday, 18th of December 2023. And I'm still trying to work out music production. Oh god, it's gonna be fun trying to sort all this shit out. I'm trying to find a way out. I need a place where I no longer see your face now. I mean, I had in mind when I started the process, that I was planning on working towards hopefully just trying to put. I think at first it was just to have an EP, so potentially just 4 tracks. I knew I was limited to what I had equipment wise. I'd only bought a couple of bits and pieces, didn't even have any monitor speakers, and it was just initially an idea of potentially getting 4 tracks done, or even just getting a couple, and then maybe this idea with B-sides or whatever. So it was just the initial idea of just getting a few tracks. Saturating compressor. Are we peaking? A little distorted, but it's on loads better. I guess that's part of this learning curve, is working what tricks to use just to clean up the sound. It's just learning to get the balance. It's the first effort of trying to do it. There's so much to learn. But we've got to start somewhere. The thing is, I give it to somebody else and it'd sound probably totally different and probably a lot better. Let's say I do all this and it's in here, and then you put it on bigger speakers and it'll probably go to shit. Fun though. February the 1st, 2024. When it comes to me and you, and I think I've got this track as close as I can get it. Which might mean it's done. Which eventually, once I got further on with the process and more ideas developed, I always wanted to record a full album, and I think eventually, once things started falling into place, then I went with it, I just kept going, I kept recording. So I had the whole idea about just recording as much stuff anyway. And then it sort of started sinking in more and going, yeah, let's actually just do an album. Don't worry about the EP side of it. Let's get 12 or more tracks down, and let's actually try and make an album for once. Because, as I've said many times before, that was the main goal from years ago. So that's once I got the hang of it, that's what I started to do. I've not even tested this on any of the speakers. This is my first export. So I don't know what this is going to turn out like. I'm hoping I can then transfer it and play it through another external speaker somewhere else. So this is where it's going to go 100% and then probably crash, and then I'll lose everything and it all goes to shit. I've just no idea what's going to happen. Oh my god. Dun dun dun. I mean, I knew it was going to all be really raw. I knew it wouldn't be perfect because, like I've sort of said before, I've done some recording in different ways. So I had a small kind of idea, but doing it with this software and as music production and finding all the inputs that you can use and the effects and compressing and limits and all this other gadgets on the software that you can use, and having to learn, well, what do they do, where do you use them, how best do you use them. I knew it was going to just take a long time to do, and it did bring its frustrations in the process. This is where I'll try and transfer it to my phone and then see if I can connect that to an external speaker and see how it sounds through that. So you don't like playing from there? Well, you're a shithead. I do remember trying to tackle certain areas when recording and it just wasn't sounding right, or it didn't sound crisp enough, or it still sounded muffled, or I'd try and add another effect to it to get it to where I wanted, and that still wasn't sort of sounding right. Oh god, and you just think you need that little bit at the beginning. But that also becomes because of the space that you're using, if it's treated or not treated, the type of microphone you're using, the quality of that, your actual recording skills themselves, how it picks up, how it's getting put into the computer. So I knew it was all going to be really raw, and I was all right with that, because I think there's still something valid in that when it's not necessarily always like polished. How weird. On one hand, I'd love something that was pure 100% clean cut, polished, and a real good piece of artwork. And then there's another side where, there is something quite human about it being not as polished and kind of rough around the edges, which I knew this is what this was going to be. So what have I learned? So I need some breathing gap at the beginning to allow that track to come in, because it goes straight in and it sounds weird. There, misses that first bit for some reason. It's like it's missing that first bit. Yeah. That means sorting out. It was also trying to remember to document what I was doing. We'd been having the idea of wanting to document the making of this EP/album, whatever it was I was working towards, which ultimately ended up being an album. I'd throw on the camera, but then there'd be times I'd forget to talk to the camera or explain certain things. Looking back and working through the footage and seeing what went off from the beginning makes me realise even more where it is useful to have other people around where they can capture those unique moments where you forget, because you're there and in it, Then other times I would just press record, and well, that comes about especially when a lot of work goes missing, which was just horrific. It was such a nightmare. Oh man. Kind of hit a point of feeling overwhelmed. Fuck. I'm only just starting out on this. Just trying to read up on so much context about what to do, how to do it, when you promote, what to promote, how much you write, fitting in times. It's just fucking a minefield trying to do it all. And what time now? 20 to 2, and now I'm just sitting down. I finished work several hours ago. I really need to get some fucking monitor speakers. Why didn't I start it right when I said I wanted to, instead of trying to dick about the edges? Now I've got to fuck about like this. So when I started recording with Burn, I recorded multiple guitar tracks. Some were just because I just kept hitting record, right, let's do another one, let's do another take, let's do another take, let's do another take, and then cipher through them ones and decide which track sounded better, which one had less mistakes in, which one I could tweak. And then on top of that, you layer up some other guitars, so you've got your rhythm and your melody, and maybe that solo bit, or you just want that extra guitar to kick in where it's the bridge. Maybe throw a bit of electric on there. But you're only working with so much space, left and right. You can't have any more. And it was so difficult to try and mix that sound, to be able to try and hear everything that was going on, and still have some room to breathe. And I kept finding I was struggling a hell of a lot with that, because I just laid up far too much, and I had to try and discipline myself to strip things away again. Fattening it out, it sort of sounds alright on one device or shit on the other. I'll figure all that out. I think when you're just on your own and you're just ploughing through and trying to fit bits in and do this, that and the other, and you're just stuck in here. But anyway, it's so weird talking out loud when there's no one around. You don't interact as properly. Just a bit of a head fuck. On another note, my filming side of stuff, just to bore you. So a film I made last year with a theatre company, which they wrote and came up with the ideas for. I just filmed it and chopped it up into pieces to make it work as a 3-minute film. I got told the other day, apparently we won. We won a prize, and that was for the Eleanor Worthington Special Prize Award, which was in Italy. Right, let's go through these guitar tracks. Let's see what sounds shit. Filter everything out. But again, this comes with learning and technique and knowing your stuff and knowing what inputs can work better, how you can go about it to give that breathing room to allow those guitars and things to come through. So as it got later on with recording Burn, it was getting really frustrating at one point. I tried different ways. I recorded loads and loads of guitar pieces. I tried it while I was going direct into the interface. I tried it via the condenser mic. I tried it by both at the same time, and just trying to find whichever sound would work the best, and then try and mix those together and master it as you do. And you kind of think at certain moments that, okay, I think this is going to work, and then you're starting to mix it, and then you just start banging your head against the wall because it's just bleeding. It's too compressed. so it sounds slightly distorted, it's not as clean, it's not as crisp. Also then trying to fatten out the sound, make it more full within the track itself. But that was this is, that is and that was and still is, part of the learning curve with doing this. And this is why I also do it. I wanted to learn, I wanted to, try and make the next track and the next track better, learn from the last one. You could hit that point where by the time you get to the very last track and you've learned that little bit more, you sort of think, right, hang on, maybe I'll go back to the start again and go and redo bits. There's bits maybe where I jumped around and went and retweaked odd areas, but I was also kind of reluctant in jumping back to the start of the earlier tracks, only because there's kind of a part of it where I captured it within that moment of how it was there and then as well, and I didn't want to necessarily take away something from that. But that's the other thing. So when you end up comparing yourself, which is kind of a normal thing to do, but you see this stuff, and obviously you've only seen probably the best of whatever they're putting out. The way something's done or filmed or angled, and everything's just all really set, really nice. I'm coming at this really raw, and that was something I came across in some content online as well. But there's always this thing about, so you've got the polished content and then they've got this raw, and how raw apparently is appealing as well. And I sometimes wonder, and then that raw footage that's getting shown still looks a little bit polished as well. So how much more raw do you want to go? I mean, here we are, cramped in with, I've got stuff packed in boxes and shit all over the place because I'm trying to do the house up. I was trying to record this music and everything through minimal bits and pieces. How fucking much more raw do you want to get? So currently working on the track Burn, and just trying to tweak around with the guitars at the moment. That have been re-recorded I don't know how many times. What am I doing? So we're layering up the guitars as well. I started working out certain melody ideas anyway, and then some of it was just improvised. I was just trying things out, just making stuff up, taking bits of that. I think in some parts of the track I just had this little couple of notes, and then I just ended up sprinkling them throughout, where the rest of the take was just horrendous. But I quite like these three little note bits, just things like that. And I'd argue with myself thinking, is this cheating in a way? Because I was working it out while I was recording at the same time. So I mean, yes, I had the basic, I had the whole song, I had all the, the chords and like idea of the melody and whatnot. But then when you start sprinkling everything else on top, you sort of start thinking, well, am I cheating this? But then at the same time, you're not. That's the whole point when you're recording, is that you get to be able to experiment with this stuff. You get to try things out and flavour it. And sometimes you just hit a unique moment of, that sounded quite good, and you can just throw it in and it just changes the song slightly. But I also found that I was just recording a ton of stuff, and then trying to cipher through all that and making a decision. What did I want to keep? What didn't I want to keep? Was I making the right choice or not? Did it sound right? Did it sound right to me? Should it only just sound right to me, or does it need to sound right to everybody else? That's the thing when doing this. You get so trapped in here, thinking what's going to work, what's not, and you just try it, and you might like it, or you might not, or you just get to a point where you're totally lost. And that's when you need a bloody good producer or someone that goes, no, that's shit, or do this, or do that. There was just moments where I really started really overanalyzing every little aspect in it, probably too much, and I had to at all points just go, let's just go with that. For this one song, because you're going to be writing more and more songs anyway, so just for this one, let's just go with it. I feel like the bass needs to do more.
But then on the other hand, if it's doing too much, I don't know if it takes it away from what's going on. But then if there's too little, it sounds too flat, but then you've got the bass on the guitar string that's playing. And you can hear it chugging slightly. So does the bass follow that, or does it own thing? And so when it mixes, it's clashing. And I don't know what to do. I'm getting tired. So we are 8th of Feb. I've pretty much spent the entire afternoon into the evening trying to sort out the drums for this track. And then I lost half of it. And then I had to figure out how to go about redoing it a better way. So stripped all the kit into separates. And I can get in, tweak with them. Alright. Try and do some vocals. Let's try and do some vocals. Let's crack our throat. As you burn all the way down, and now that you're still haunting me, I've just fucking killed my fucking throat. That hurt. God, how I try and turn these feelings to ash. Just keep trying shit. Endless takes. Yeah, this is not working. So the vocals are shot through. It's too bassy and crackling. Just sounds shit. Just don't know what to fucking do. Sounds shit. It's been a while now, I'm slowly forgetting how your voice sounds. Maybe it's not a bad thing I'm forgetting, considering how it all went down.
And I think later on as well, I started to accept, okay, I've got it at this level of recording, this is kind of how it's sounding. There's nothing stopping me 2 or 3 years down the line going back and re-recording that track. And it might sound totally different, or being rewritten totally different. There's probably 1 or 2 on this album anyway where I started writing the song, and I had an idea for the song, which then ended up completely changing and being on piano, and became a totally different song, which sometimes happens. And I guess that's, you know, part of the process whilst you're writing and figuring out your material.
Rusting in the rain. Who am I now since you went away? Wondering if the sun would come out again. Trust and faith and hopes and dreams, now they wash away. All the trust and faith placed in you, oh, it washed away. Take the money every day, a means to get yourself straight. Soon found yourself back there, again rereading the same page. Rusting in the rain, who am I now since you went away? I wonder if some would come out again, or maybe someday. Trust and faith in you, hell, it washed away. Trust and faith placed in you, it washed away. So my approval copy of my book arrived. There we go. For me to check to make sure it's all alright. It's only taken me, what, 25 years to get this together. For a handful of poems, for an idea I had 25 odd years ago. But it's there, ready for you beautiful people to buy on Amazon once I approve it 100%. Right then, I'm going to go and do some vocal work before I go out and actually have a bit of a social life. So it is February 20th. I didn't document yesterday. So I spent all day yesterday going through the burn track, adjusting the vocals, arrangement, what I maybe think works, what maybe doesn't, adjusting the levels, putting the compressors on and EQs and trying to balance things out. Obviously everything's clipping, the master's clipping, so I'm trying to research a bit more into tweaking that because there's a lot more going on in this. I went through the guitars. I might add the electric guitar back in, but I kind of got rid of what I'd done before. There's that much going on in this. Everything's just getting muddy, so I'm trying to just filter some of it out, trying to be a bit more harsh with myself. And obviously all of this I'm just doing it through the headphones, and I'm probably going to have to get some better headphones as well, because when you hear back on some of the recording, you can hear it going through the headphones into the mic, so that's just shit. So clipping all those little bits out, all the little breathing gaps and things, but this is the thing, this is how you learn. You gotta do it. And I'm just gonna give it a fresh, quick listen through. And the other thing this is the other thing, when you have a number of different projects you're trying to do all at the same time, or wanting to do, and doing this also then generates other ideas, and then another idea, and another idea, and this idea, and then this film project idea, or this writing idea, and I just can't put myself in 50 different places right now. The fun of fucking technology. So 2.5 hours of work, editing some bollocks. I've lost it all. It's all fucking crashed. Fuckity, fuck's sakes.
I just remember that being really stressful, losing all this work. I think it happened a couple of times. There's ones where I think I lost about 3 months worth of work. There was the bit when I was recording Burn and the second track, where then the computer just glitched and it was crashing, and the software was crashing, and all my other software was crashing, and then I lost part of the work, and the files had gone, and I had to go back and re-record, and that happened several times, and you know, different things say it's due to the type of software, and I had to take the laptop in to get looked at, and then it kind of came back and like, well, we can't really see any glitches, and then I ended up forking out more to sort out some other stuff, and it just became a headache before I'd even really got started, and I remember that just being really stressful and feeling really frustrated by it, in that I'm just trying to, you know, I knew it wasn't going to be an easy process, but I was just trying to make a start on recording this record, and I'd run into all these problems as soon as I started with, before I'd even really got going, and I was pissed off about that. I was so pissed off.
There's always a point you get so far when everything then just goes to fucking shit. It's never mind the music stuff. It's all my film work, all my photography work, all my personal other stuff. Are you fucking kidding me? It's now February 24th. Everything's on hold because the laptop has been a dick. Because my laptop keeps crashing and things aren't working, and even trying to do some other editing and nothing's working, and I have spent a couple of days trying to sort it out. And as you can tell, even just experimenting with something, yeah, it's just all frozen, all crashed, which means it's all going to get shut down again, which probably means nothing will get saved. I lost so much work last night, and then ended up drunk because of it. Oh, so that's the laptop being taken in to see if it can figure out any of the glitches. It was working fine last night. It's just a drainer because of projects and trying to carry on recording this blooming album. What a ball ache.
So I should say here, is because I didn't capture it on film, is eventually I got everything sorted out through ways and means and further investments, to at least get everything back up and running across all platforms for music, film, photography, personal stuff, etc. And was able to finish the Burn track, which I ended up releasing as an early bird single in April, just as a thank you to people. It certainly was a bit of touch and go and frustrating, because I just remember in that moment thinking I just lost everything, absolutely everything.
So I've not long got back from a filming job, a new project. I keep forgetting to document shit. And what I should say is, today's what is today? 11th of April. So yesterday, 10th of April, so as a goodwill gesture, the track Burn was released for everyone to be able to listen to and check out via Bandcamp. I am looking at options for like Spotify and stuff. I'm going to wait until, let's try and get the album done, and then we'll look at what options there are to upload the entire album. But yeah, it's gone out. It's had a few plays. It seems a couple of people like it. Some people really, really like it, which is that's good. It's positive to hear. Just need to try and push it further afield, get more feedback. But it's out, so it's pretty good in the sense of finally releasing a track. That's going to be part of this album. And what am I trying to say? I'm really tired today. I'm so tired. It's good, you know, from starting trying to learn how to do all this to then getting it recorded to mastering it to the best that I can, and then putting it out there and then for people to hear. Whilst I still don't have no monitor speakers, it's obviously doing it the way I've been doing it. But it seems to be doing all right. What am I trying to say? Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, from remembering when I started recording that, to it being released, basically, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Obviously, I was going to wait until all the album was done. That's what you normally do, and then release a few singles, etc., etc. But there we go. It's gone out. It's there, and we just got to keep going. I think there's been 5 tracks recorded so far. Still a long ways to go, but we're getting there. So yeah, there we go.